Hey, Ryle students, welcome back. We are working on making wall tiles with Charlie. And who am I?
This is Julie Harwood, aka my mom, aka the art teacher at Ryle High School.
One of two. Mr. Stropko, he's making all the videos for our unit on drawing in perspective because that's not my forte. And I have Charlie here helping me because I love clay. I do clay. And I have a very hard time teaching clay. So if he's working with me on this video, he's catching me up and we're going to troubleshoot with you. So first thing that you're going to do before you touch clay, before anything happens, you're going to have to design your piece. So I'm going to flip my camera down. And of course my camera just kind of turned. So this is Charlie's design. And this is my design up here. And a clay tile is a flat tile, flat side, ta-da! And then the side like this. You notice that there's a little divot up here so that I can hang him on the wall, which I do hang him on the wall. Charlie was inspired by my tile, and then my tile up here was inspired by something that my dad and stepmom have at their house. And so it's kind of my address that I'm going to hang by my front door. So these are designs. Take a note of them. I'll be referring to them a lot, but you won't be able to see them because my space does not allow for us to be able to have the designs easily viewable. So the first thing that Charlie and I are going to do, he's got his clay, I have my clay. We are going to have to wedge our clay. You remember how to do that? And do you remember why we wedge clay?
To get it more in shape.
Get it in shape, yes. In a long time.
And dry out the clay.
It kind of gets all the moisture all uniformly within the clay. It makes all the molecules uniform, but there's a really big reason. Do you remember the really big reason?
Why? What?
The air bubbles. We're getting all the air bubbles out of the clay because we're going to have to take your clay and we're going to cook your clay in an oven. The oven's called a kiln. And if there's an air bubble in there, that air bubble traps moisture. And when moisture gets really, really, really hot,
it expands.
What happens when you boil something?
It bubbles.
It bubbles and then it explodes. And so then we're kind of in a pickle. So we're wedging all the air bubbles out and we're setting the clay. We're waking the clay up. We're telling him, hey, dude, wake up. Now, I'm going to take a little of my clay off. This right here is going to become all the designs and decorations on mine. So you're going to need enough off of yours to make not a huge amount because I gave you a smaller piece of clay too. Yeah, so pinch off. Is that big enough for
I think
a pear and then a little bit more for an apple? Okay. So we're going to set that aside. There's mine. And now we're going to make, I'm going to make kind of a rectangle cube. You wanted a square, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to kind of wedging. But this time, I'm just going to keep dropping it on. When I wedged it before, we kept ours in a lump. And so we were kind of dropping it on all the sides to keep it in a solid form. Now I'm just kind of at the point where
it's got 6 sides.
You could make a 6-sided one or an 8-sided one.
I mean, it's still going to be 6-sided, even if it's like that.
This is a pretty good solid rectangle there, and I kind of like, although
mine's
that side goes. So I'm going to tap this down and see if I can get this to kind of elongate a little bit.
Mine's
so that's more of a lump. You remember doing this? So when I'm hitting it, and Charlie's demonstrating it too, we're using this part of our hand. We're not using our fingers. If I hit it with my fingers, I get a bunch of lumps. Yeah, we don't like that. came up there. Look at that. So when I have that little air bubble that comes up, I'm going to get it with a needle tool or a real sharp little pencil, something like that. And I'm going to get that out there. There it is. See?
You want it all evenly shaped, right?
I did not wedge it well. Now, while we're working with the clay, our clay is starting to dry out a little bit. If your hands are warm, your clay is going to dry out faster than if your hands are kind of naturally on the cooler side.
Hands are naturally warm.
So you might run into some of the same problems Dad ran into. So hold yours up a little bit, like this, so they can see how thick it is. Okay, right now Charlie's is really, really, really thick. We want to get them down to be thinner. So if you look at that tile, you can see how much thinner. If I lay out my pinky finger, I have tiny pinky fingers, and that's a pretty good width. Probably just a little bit thicker than a pencil. You see kind of the little bit of edge here. So if I roll that back, that's the back edge of the pencil. So it's a little bit thicker, and I kind of want it to be pretty uniform. So I'm going to be really thoughtful about it. If I hit it really hard, I'm going to leave this huge indent. I don't want to hit it very hard. Now, if you kind of like your tile to be maybe a little bit organic, so mine looks a little bit organic. I'm also going to go down this side because that kind of smoothed it out. If you like it a little bit organic, take your fingers and just kind of rub them on the sides just to smooth them. So like right here, there's some wonkiness happening. If you like that, that's totally fine. If you are a real tight, precise precision person, you can tap them on the tabletop a little bit. Gently. That's right. So tapping it.
You want like defined corners, you gotta pat it down like.
Well, if you want defined corners, your other option, third option, is to take a straight edge. So I'm actually going to use, I'll grab a note card. You can use a piece of paper. And if I lay this note card on here, along the top edge to figure out what's straight there. So you see that little bit of clay sticking out here? Each one of you is going to have, whether you're in class or at home, I'm going to give you each a shish kebab skewer. And when I peel that off, that leaves a real tight, precise cut. I'm going to smooth down these ridges just a little bit with my finger. The ridges, while the clay is soft, are not such a big deal, but when you cook the clay, a ridge like this will actually cut your finger. Because clay is made up of...
That's why you want...
Do you remember what's in clay?
Different minerals like dirt.
Silica.
Oh.
What do you use to make silica in Minecraft?
You can't make silica in Minecraft.
No, you have to mine silica to make something.
Silica isn't even in Minecraft.
It isn't? How do you make glass?
Sand.
Okay, guess what? Guess what sand's made out of?
Silica.
Silica. So, clay has silica in it.
And there is clay in Minecraft, though.
Well, there you go. There's silica inside of clay that allows for it to harden when it cooks in the kiln. Another fascinating fact, when clay dries, so you guys need to be very careful of this, and hopefully you will watch my intro video. Dried out clay has silica in it, and silica as a powder
is not good to breathe in.
Is very bad to breathe in. It causes...
And it's bad for your eyes, too.
Well, a lot of potters, people who are professional clay workers, they end up with silicosis, which is a very, very nasty form of lung cancer.
That's why you
So
want to be careful around clay. It's not just innocent. It can be a deadly weapon.
it can be a deadly weapon. More deadly when you're not following directions.
Exactly.
I let them use.
And I don't follow
X-Acto
directions pretty easily.
I just kind
I go
of
off
dinged
on
that
my
up.
own.
So I am using my note card and finishing up this. Are you pretty happy with yours?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are at home, you can use not really a butter knife, really. They are actually pretty terrible. If you happen to have a palette knife, they
I
might
have
be
a
okay.
thick pinky.
You do have. Well, it's only thick, like at your.
I have a
at the
big
base.
finger.
Well, you know what? Your fingers are probably more accurate to some of my guys in class. Anyway. Okay, so I have a tile. Charlie, you got a tile?
Yes.
Okay, so put your tile up here. You can see it. And
Hey guys, you like my tile?
they like your tile. So Charlie's going to do a pear and an apple. I'm going to do letters or numbers. I'm going to show 2 different ways to do numbers, and then he's going to be raised. So this is raised. The numbers are raised. This is going to be carved in, and he's going to be raised. Are yours all going to be on top?
Yeah, mine are going to be raised.
Okay, so these are going to be raised, and then he can think about if he wants
These
to do
aren't
anything in
going
the
to be
background.
raised, though.
Okay, are those going to like be indented in?
Yeah, those are going to be indented in.
Okay.
You can't even see it on camera.
I can't see it in there.
Like I was poking at something.
So he said these are going to be raised, these are going to be indented
This
in.
is going to be like especially raised.
So it's going to be bigger. It's going to come out
like
further than this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We might have to do something tricky on the back to keep it from being too thick. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to actually make some coils. Like that. I'm going to make some coils. What you are going to do is you're going to take some of these and you are going to pull them apart
and knead them.
Make some balls. We don't want to knead clay. Do you remember what happens when you knead clay too much?
Yes.
What does it do?
It hardens it.
It hardens it and dries it out. So
That's
hold your hands
no-brainer.
up here so they see you working and I can see you working. And then if you run into problems, we can help you.
Got some struggles here.
You got some struggles. So I'm going to start to do my coils and I'm going to start with a bit of something that looks like a beautiful
Do you have an
turd.
X-Acto knife?
I don't have an X-Acto knife.
I know where an X-Acto knife is.
But I want to be able to use what the kids are going to use at home.
Okay.
And so when you're doing yours, you're going to actually sculpt.
I need to cut this in half so that I can place it there and it's not just a straight up ball.
Now flatten it. Like that. Now, whenever you guys saw me starting to roll this while sitting down, and my coil's getting weird. So if I stand up and I hover kind of over top of it and I roll fast, then I make a good coil. And coils are tricky to do. But I've been teaching coil pottery for 16 years. And I have kids that don't want to stand up to make a coil, and then they end up with the funky floppy coil that I showed you to begin with.
It's a half.
It's a half. So is that for the apple or the pear?
Pear. So I'm going to place the pear right over here because the pear is going to be right here, and then the apple's going to be coming out of the side. Okay. I'm going to have these things.
Are we going to wait to attach it for a couple minutes?
Yeah. I'm just going to get my pieces ready really quickly.
And so, like, I'm preparing my pieces, you're preparing your pieces.
It's like a papaya.
So are you going to do another, like, little ball for the top of the pear?
I'm just going to, like, make, like, a little half kind of ball.
Uh-huh.
But, like, connect it onto this. But, like, it's not going to be as big as this one or as race as this one.
I started rolling this in my hand a little bit, but it gets longer than my hand, and then it just starts flopping all over the place.
It turns into a no bueno.
Exactly. We want our coils to be really, really, really clean and precise.
We need a big bueno. It's a big gun.
So I don't want to use an X-Acto knife to cut clay. I have used X-Acto knives, but
It's
you need to
gonna ruin the
have.
knife
Well, no, you need to use a cutting surface underneath the
because it's gonna cut this.
You
thing.
can't cut it in the mat, right? And so, and
Oh, that is ready.
truly, after all these years, I have actually found
This
your
apple.
shish kebab skewers are going to come down to a sharper point. These were chopsticks that I had left over.
Yeah.
Yeah, chopsticks. Okay, so my piece, I had that coil that went around it, or I had that like little picture frame that went around it before I got over to Quilliam.
Can I use that fork over there?
Oh, yeah, you can use that fork. So those of you at home, if you kitchen utensils are really pretty helpful when I go to clay. Yeah.
I'm just cutting it with the kitchen utensil.
Totally, I don't see people having a problem with that. So my design was kind of like that with my little hedgehog. It's maybe going to be a little pickly or prickly. I think I was going to actually put him on that side. So I'm going to bring that over there. That's going to be
watching nature documentary.
Oh, yeah? Okay. And so my address is a 5.
And a 5. And a 0.
So there's my 5. And then over here, I could pinch it off or I could cut it off. It's up to you. I want to go back and kind of smooth that out and make that look pretty. I kind of like the texture from this.
So is this going to be like multiple options for your students? So they're going to choose one project to do?
It is. I'm going to give them 4 different projects. Actually, probably 5.
That's
have
easy. I'm doing one right now.
Exactly. We have a wall tile, we have monsters, we have wall animals or garden stakes, and then we'll do snowmen.
And keep in mind, I am a 13-year-old. I am not a high schooler.
You know what? Mine might not work with my hedgehog.
Your hedge of the hog?
My hedge of the hog might not, he might be too big. But it might be okay, because I might just make like a little hedgehog. Maybe I'll make a little hedgehog to go down in one of the circles.
Okay. You do you, Mom.
I do me. You do you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this pear. It's so good. It makes me want to cry.
Here, hold it up there so that they can see it.
Yeah.
Well, here, how about if I turn it? Haha.
It's a cool cat.
Well, but now he's upside down.
It looks like a peanut.
It does look like a peanut.
It looks like a chocolate thing that you'd find at like a factory, you know? I need to like make it more even right there. So that it's like more of a smooth transition and not just like a big hill all of a sudden. I don't think a pear would be like that.
What do you think of that, Charlie?
Pretty cool. Although you're not going to fit the hedgehog.
Oh. So, told you. I can start with a little pinch. Pinch of clay, pinch of clay.
They are more.
And our little clam is a lump who's flat on the bottom. And he's got a pointy nose. Pointy nose, pointy nose. He's got a little pointy tail. Pointy tail. And then he's got these weird little legs that kind of pop out underneath him. They're the strangest little legs ever.
Ah, I got the big transition
looks
right there.
Kind of like a Larion.
What a glow up for this thing.
Yeah, but he's upside down again. I flipped the screen around.
Oh.
What a glory. It is glorious.
Any TikTok person would find that very amusing. They'd be like, oh wow, what a glow up for this pear.
Really?
Yes, totally.
I'm going to use a little bit of this.
I bet they probably don't even
pull down a little bit there. Pull down. Ah! Well, crap.
Let's hope the pear just doesn't die. If so, rip pear.
Don't kill the pear.
I'm not going to kill the pear.
Okay.
Okay. So the pear would fit right there.
So if you guys hear the other stuff happening, the husband is watching a video in the other room. If you watch the other video, you
The
bet
father.
the husband.
The father figure. Figure.
So our hedgehog has these giant ears and this roly-poly body. I'm actually going to go back and use the fork.
I
So
need to make the stem for the pen.
those of you in school will have plastic forks available. Those of you at home, I can send you home with a plastic fork, or you can use your family fork.
It's quite indeed great.
His legs look horrible.
Chill out, Mom. Chill. It's not the end of the world.
Little tail.
Sometimes you just can't get what you want.
Can't always get what you want.
You can't
Always get what you want.
You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find. You get what you need. I think that guitar part was kind of unneeded.
Generally, everything that I do is unneeded.
No.
Okay,
Not always unneeded.
cooking for you. I'm making sure you're well fed.
What?
That's needed, right?
I help cook.
I know you do.
Lily doesn't help cook. She only does like the dishes and laundry anymore. She's always obsessed with her boyfriend.
Yeah, well,
It's
that happens.
No, I am not a dominant child now, so I can't really argue with her because she'll just make me her punching bag. She beats me up. Just kidding. No child abuse here. No child abuse.
Unless your mom's committing it.
No
Alrighty.
sister abuse. We and Lily have a good relationship.
Yes, you do.
Unless we're
Okay, so this O was bigger than that O, so I'm going to trick it out, and I'm going to put my little hedgehog here in that O. And so,
not a glow up no longer.
Not a glow up. Well, it's glowing up on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember from so long ago, like when you were little,
No.
how we're going to attach the
Oh, that looks
extra-
like an elephant. I'm just kidding. It's kind of cute. I like
thank
that.
you. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. How are we going to attach all this stuff? Because this stuff isn't stuck on here.
Oh, you gotta use the water.
Okay. Do you remember what the water's called?
No. Hydration?
No.
I don't know.
So the water that you're going to be using in class is probably going to have old clay in it. And
Most likely.
that's called slip. Slip is
Good.
glue. It's clay glue. It's water and clay. It's not a big deal. It's pretty easy. And
it's a big brain play.
Exactly. And we are going to use this fork. And we are going to, do you remember what this is called when you use the fork?
Aren't you going to do like texturing with the fork?
I'm going to do texturing with the fork, but it's a very specific, special kind of texturing. Remember what it's called?
No.
Scoring.
You
remember that word?
You do that in food, in culinary stuff too.
You do. I'm glad you noticed that. You also have to do it when you're working in wood. Grandpa has to use sandpaper to score
Gordon Ramsay
wood
scores,
before he
whatever
sticks it together. You got to score, like sometimes you have to score
beef
stuff.
Wellington.
I was going to say when you're doing pastry, you have to do that. So what I'm doing right now is I am taking each of my objects and I'm just kind of flipping it over like
I'm
this.
proud of this fruit. It makes me happy. I can hang it up in my room when I'm done.
And I'm going to go ahead and just take my line off. And so there's my tile. And here's Charlie's tile. He's going to have to do the same stuff here in just a minute. And I'm going to grab a second fork.
Because I'm hogging this one.
Because you're totally hogging that one.
Thanks.
But we've had a delicious
Skyline.
lunch at, well, we picked up Skyline. Yeah.
Skyline chili. Cincinnati's.
Except when you love Gold Star.
I don't like Gold Star. Gold Star's not the best. It could be better.
So On here, I actually see where the 5 and the 5, like they left a sticky mark on here, which is perfect.
Look at that.
And then I know this edge is going to be here. So I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to, he's a beautiful pear. You don't have to slip and score yours yet because you're making your apple first.
No, I can make my apples sooner rather than later.
Oh, yeah?
I can make it later. I can score now for demonstration.
For demonstration purposes?
Ah,
are you going to do like a border around yours?
No.
I'm scoring around mine because I have a border.
No.
No, then you probably don't need that.
But I can mark where places
You
can be for
could.
the...
Now, for you, I would lay this down where he's supposed to go.
No, it's supposed to be tilted.
Okay, so put him where he's supposed to go. Is he where you want him?
Yes.
Okay, so why not take your fork
And score where he's
and just kind of, do a real light outline.
Why don't I use...
You could also take a pencil and just kind of trace it on there.
Or I could use this edge of the fork.
Scoring. So scoring works because you're taking 2 slippery surfaces and you're roughing up the surfaces so the 2 slippery surfaces will stick together. Now your clay initially is going to feel like it sticks together, right, Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, I didn't need to slip and score. But as soon as your clay dries, it is no longer sticky. And when it is no longer sticky,
It won't.
Yeah.
It's just like, heck no. You ain't getting...
When we do slipping and scoring.
Oh crap, my head was on a...
When I taught slipping and scoring as an elementary teacher and we did our coil pots, I would pick somebody's pot up, the base and the coils, I would pick them up by the coil. And if the coil peeled off, then they did not slip and score as well as they should. So I've slipped and scored that, or scored it. Now I'm going to take my water, get that little bit of clay wet, and I'm going to put some of that down there.
Whoa! Totally tubular.
In that texture. I'm glad you used that word, Charlie. It's a great art word.
I know. That's why I did it.
Now it's a shame you didn't remember slip and score.
Thanks. I can make the apple now.
So just dropping some water. I'm not dropping huge puddles of water, by the way. Just a little bit.
My head was on the camera there for a second.
Your head can be on the camera. Nobody's going to see a problem with that, I don't think.
I'm sure they will.
So I'm wiggling that into place.
Will it fit?
And you know what? Before I do the rest of the outside, I might actually do the inside. Because something I forgot, if I lift that up, that right there, is that pretty, Charlie, or does that look like a hot mess? Right along there.
Where?
Like right there.
Kind of looks like a hot mess.
It looks like a hot mess. I want it to be pretty, don't I? Yeah. So I'm going to take the edge of my stick, and if I were using my shish kebab skewers, I would actually use the
It's like a crescent
opposite
moon
end.
shape. Yeah.
It is.
Why is it so close to the camera when I'm not holding it close to the
The
camera?
camera's right here, baby.
I know.
Look, finger. Wiggle that on. If I lift up this, that's a little rough on the side. Do you like that edge? Is that kind of a cool little coil on there, or do you think that I should smooth that out?
You should smooth it out. I think it'd look a lot better if you
Like more
smooth it out.
professional.
Yes.
So I'm supporting the inside of my.
I need to take my pot a little bit.
Whoa! Almost hurt my little hedgehog there. So I got that guy. I'm going to use just a little bit of this clay and just kind of smooth that in. And I'm not pinching. You don't want to pinch clay. Clay doesn't like to be pinched. You don't like to be pinched, do you, Charlie?
No.
So kids don't like to be pinched, right? For the most part. No, clay doesn't like to be pinched either. And if you pinch clay,
I'm sticking
Unless you're
this one
doing a
like
pinch
permanently on.
unless you're doing a pinch pot, You have to slip and score it, dude.
Uh-oh. It's not getting off.
Oh, you want me to show you?
Oh, no.
Okay, so he smashed that in there.
Oh, no. Oh, my hard work.
Oh, it peels right off.
Thanks.
And then I don't know. Now, did you slip and score? You haven't slipped and scored that.
No,
either.
I wasn't putting that one on permanently yet.
So I'm going to move out of the camera a little bit and let you slip and score so they can see you do that.
I'm just going to use my finger.
To do what?
Slip and score.
No, you're not. How are you going to use your finger?
A finger.
Your fingernails?
Not my fingernail.
You don't know what you're talking about. What you talking about? I don't know.
I don't know.
Mom, you're the expert here. I'm going to do what you say because you're the smartest mom ever.
Thanks.
I'm complimenting myself from you.
I didn't say it. It's not a compliment from me yet.
Making a compliment from you.
I'm just going to like claw this thing out. Yeah, it fits the
Alrighty. So I have that attached. Did you see how long that took to attach? It took me a few minutes, didn't it? A few minutes is totally okay. Alrighty. And of course I lost my 5500. So I'm going to squish these back on here and kind of outline them a little bit because I want to be able to place them where I want them. Our neighbors all going to be jealous and be like, we want that on our house.
No, they're going to be like, okay, that thing's going to fall off in a second.
God, you sound like your dad.
Thanks.
So,
I don't think that was supposed to be a compliment.
not generally.
Okay, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment then. Ooh, your uncompliment was rejected.
So if I do
If I
I wasn't singing Bare Naked Ladies. I was trying to sing the song from Babe.
Dun 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 dun
Alrighty.
dun 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 dun.
I like how yours is lifted up. So I am going to connect. I'm going to slip and score this O first before I get too far. See how that popped right off? If you have a cocktail fork at home, this has turned out to be really a sweet little fork. Never use it for food though. I never use it for food. Yeah, totally use it.
I used it for food.
Well, we just got to make sure we wash it really well before we. So I'm just making that a nice, pretty solid before I attach it.
Dad's been watching the same thing all day today.
What has he been watching?
This guy that's scamming scammers. It's funny, but I don't get it. It's always Dad though. Like he's always
your dad's like obsessed with YouTube.
He's addicted to like dumb things.
I could say that about you too.
Yeah, but I'm a child. I have a reason to. Dad's an adult. He's a fully fledged adult.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that as a fully fledged adult, you're not going to be like watching dumb things?
Yeah, it just depends on how I feel and if I'm Dad.
I'm totally going to remember that someday so that, you know, when I look at my grandkids and they're like playing and tearing the house up while you're watching something dumb.
No, I'm not like Uncle Ben. I'm not that guy.
You do realize that I'm going to post this on YouTube and Uncle Ben could possibly watch this someday.
Oh, no. Please, no.
I'm going to post this on YouTube.
Why?
Because this is going to go out. This is going to be for my students to be able to use. And
Okay.
so here's something cool. You could do the same thing using polymer clay. Did you know that?
I have polymer clay.
You do have polymer clay. So if you are not one of my Ryle students, you don't have access to clay at home, like the clay that we're using that gets cooked in a kiln.
Assuming that people that aren't Ryle students are watching this.
I know. It's my goal to become a YouTuber when I grow up. Think I should become a YouTuber? I mean, that's what you want to do.
I don't want to become a YouTuber. I'm just saying if I can't find a job when I'm older, I'm most likely probably going to be a YouTuber so I can get some money and maybe kickstart easier. It's a good financial plan.
A good financial plan?
Yes.
You are hilarious.
I want to be financially responsible.
Financially responsibilized?
I didn't say financially responsible.
It sounded like you said that. I kind of wanted you to say that because that sounded so cool. Your mother likes it when you say, I want to be financially responsible.
Could I use that little tiny one?
You can't invent it.
Okay. I'm going to clear off this.
Okay. Here, you want that one?
Yes.
Here, move that up so that they can see what you're doing. My gosh. Doesn't it look like a horror movie?
Oh, no.
On there?
It looks like me.
So I could use a little paintbrush for this. So if you have the little paintbrush, you want to do that, that's totally fine. So if you did this with polymer clay, most of these same skills apply. You rough it up to stick it together, or you make them separate and expect to glue them together later. I need to use polymer clay more often.
I mean,
if you have air dry clay,
or monster clay, that's cool stuff.
It sticks together differently, but yeah, you could do monster clay too. Monster clay is cool.
I want to use it.
You do?
Yeah, you can make Frankenstein and stuff out of it.
They're tricky though. I had a girl last year who bought monster clay and was using it in my classrooms.
You buy them in big tubs.
Yeah.
They're pretty cheap though.
Oh no, it's kind of expensive. If I was buying it for my classroom, it'd be expensive.
Well, yeah, because you have to buy 50 tubs.
Right.
But if you're buying it just for yourself, it's only $10.
So there's my 5. This video is already 37 minutes long.
Oh, wow. 37 minutes.
Yeah.
I wonder if your students are going to be bored by the end of this. They're going to be like, oh, wow.
Do you think they're falling asleep already, or do you think that they are finding our commentary just kind of
talking
comical?
about them, they're not even watching right now.
Probably
I
not.
think they're watching YouTube or something, and they're only watching this to get extra credit and stuff.
Well, they gotta watch it because they're gonna be making clay projects and stuff.
Oh.
So
I'm making everything wet and shiny.
Are you making everything wet and
shiny? I
shiny?
know somebody was thinking of something different. Yeah.
Hope not. Why are you making everything wet and shiny? I hate overusing water.
Because I think it looks cool.
Right.
I think it makes everything look chrome. And I like chrome. Chrome's a cool thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So I want to get kind of the bottom of the circle on here to kind of give that illusion of this is an O that little William is kind of climbing into. And
oh, that's kind of cute.
Is that kind of cute?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to take my skewer
Slurpee.
and I'm going to kind of clean up those edges and make sure they're wiggled down. Don't wash your hands because they're just going to keep getting messy, Bubby.
I need to stretch my legs. My legs are getting stiffer than a sniffer.
What?
I don't know.
You're a weirdo.
Thanks.
I love you.
Love you too, Mom, but thanks. Take a weirdo as a compliment.
And I'm going to do something else weird that you're not doing, Charlie.
Okay, I'm making a leaf right now.
You have a nice smooth background kicking. I'm going to do a textured background. Do you want to know why? Because there's a part of me that's a little lazy and I don't want to have to actually smooth out this background. And
I mean, I'm making a leaf right now, so.
I'm going to use the end of my stick. And I am just very gently creating a pattern right.
Oh, yes.
And the glaze is going to kind of fill up these little crevices that I'm making, and it's going to look pretty wicked sweet. One, two, three. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I also have to finish getting the rest of my...
I have a leaf done.
That's a lovely leaf, man.
That's going to be part of my pier.
Bump, 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 bump. So the kids get a choice. They can make...
Oh, it makes me so happy. I like Leaf. I will name him Job.
Job?
Yes.
Why Job?
Because it sounds like Steve Jobs. And also, I could just place it down because my clay is already wet and sticky.
Oh, I thought you were going to name him Job because of that movie you guys were watching last night.
Huh?
What was it? The Year One or whatever?
There's no Job.
Oh, Job wasn't one of the characters in it?
No. There's a Jack Black. There's no Job.
Oh, my bad.
I just meant I just got some what?
How do those circles look on the screen? I haven't looked up to see what's going on.
I think it looks like a beehive.
Huh.
It looks kind of cool. Beehive. Beehive.
So I think I'm going to glaze. I'll glaze the numbers white, and then I'll do some funky glaze in the background. Okay, so there's and then I got to finish this up.
Mom, did you get to sleep in this morning, or did you wake up really early?
I woke up originally at 6 because I'm used to waking up that early. And I cracked my eye, and it was still just a little dark because it's overcast today. And I'm like, yep, I'm going back to sleep. And then I was up by 8. Why? Because I'm not on virtual kids schedule.
Thanks.
Why? You're on virtual kid schedule. If I were a virtual kid, I would be on your schedule too.
I sleep in because I work hard enough.
Because you do all your work the night before.
Yes.
I know.
And also I need sleep. I'm
not giving you a hard time. You're doing your work and you're getting it turned in. Why would I give you a hard time if you were doing what you're supposed to do?
On my work. It's just
right.
It's not concluding to my actual grade, and it's making me confused.
Stupid ingenuity, right?
Exactly.
Wiggle that on. I'm really kind of digging this. This is really kind of cool.
I like mine.
Ours rock. Now, you have some funky happening right along here.
I know.
And another trick you could do is you could do a little bit of an undercut. So, like, you could take your stick here, and you could just carve it in just a little bit.
Then it looks cool.
And it pops it up. It gives it a little bit of definition. So I'm in the process of trying to wiggle this in. You see kind of that combination there. That doesn't look good. That looks kind of garbagey. So we're going to come back and we're going to kind of try to smooth these and make these kind of going together. Yeah. Mr. Stropko is going to look at this and be like, dude, this is 45 minutes. No student in their right mind is going to watch this.
And I'll be like, you thought that this would be unsuccessful. Well, psych.
Well, you know what? If I was by myself and the kids were like stuck listening to my commentary, I would guarantee you they would have stopped listening like 10 hours ago.
But I'm just too like interesting.
They more than likely have turned it off too. Or they're watching it on silent.
I'm not really feeling putting on a leaf into the apple.
Don't do it.
Because
it's yours, dude.
Apples don't usually have leaves on their stem whenever they come in like the bag.
I'm in the process of like trying to get that. And I'm just using kind of the edge of the fork. And my plastic fork, could I do that with this? Oh, hey, look at that. So I'm supporting it with my finger and my thumb and just kind of smoothing it out. Because Charlie said a nice edge is important. And really, truly, the deal with clay is that you want good craftsmanship. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to use poor craftsmanship with anything, but clay is one of those things.
I'm proud. Really I'm proud of my thing.
That's not pretty.
Oh, thanks.
No. My edge here, dude.
I thought you meant mine. I was like, oh, okay.
So I'm taking this like little lump of clay. It'd help if he was a little softer. I should have probably put him in the water and soaked him a little bit. Just rubbing that edge of clay. I gotta be careful when no, unless Quilliam fell off the front. So we keep talking about Quilliam. Quilliam's a hedgehog. He kind of shows up on all my house stuff. I even made
don't know
note cards with.
He is an iconic hedgehog right now.
He is an iconic hedgehog. He doesn't emerge. He's totally a hobbit.
I am proud of my art,
but we use him.
Dad, look at my art. Are you proud of me?
Oh, you did that?
Yes.
Wow.
Be proud of me.
That's the funkiest looking apple I've ever seen.
Thanks. Wow. It's a big apple, but it's like, you know, it is what it is.
New York City.
Apples are big.
New York City and New Jersey?
I don't know, is it?
I don't know.
New Jersey is pretty big compared to New York.
New York City is bigger, but New Jersey is pretty big. And that's where like people who can't afford to live in New York City but work in New York City, they live in New Jersey.
You guys like my arm?
Yeah, I think you do. New Jersey is where like the normal people live.
Yeah, New York is where all the crowded people live.
Actually, that's probably disingenuous of me.
What do you mean? We love New York.
We do love New York.
New York is a good state because
New York City's just fun. It's a cool city.
New Jersey.
I've never been to New
crime.
Jersey. I don't think it has more crime or less crime than anywhere else.
The Cecil Hotel.
Well, okay. They had that show on that included people from our area, though.
Netflix.
Yeah. Okay,
you mean
so now that I have that whole line on here, I'm gonna go back and include the little dots that need to be included. That really kind of filled in. Okay, so Charlie, both of these gotta hang up on a wall somewhere, right? Do these have to hang up somewhere?
Yeah.
So if I flip this over, I got this little notch. Okay. So we're gonna take yours.
It's gonna clomp mine down.
I'm gonna hold it. So like I have my hand kind of bold.
Oh no.
And I'm supporting the edges and allowing that to kind of. I don't think it will. Okay, we're gonna take a fork. So I have it. I went in kind of deep at kind of that angle right there. So I went, and I've made this divot, and then I'm going to smooth this out.
Can I write my name?
Oh, thank you for wanting to sign that.
I mean, every artist got to sign a masterpiece.
So if I were signing it, I could sign it like this, but I'm going to hold it for him so that he can sign it. Are you going to use cursive?
Chuck. I'm too lazy to do cursive.
Now, 2021. I think when you go by Chuck, you have to go by the Chuck.
Or Grumble Chuck.
I want to see you sign an English paper Grumble Chuck someday. I think that'd be hilarious.
3-12. Isn't it the 12?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Dad, is today the 12th?
Today is the 13th.
21.
Dun, dun, dun. And I want to hang this on some nails. And so I'm going to poke a hole here.
Pocahontas.
I'm going to push it all the way through. Now, when I poke a hole, so you guys see that hole that I poked through, it explodes on the other side. So on this side, I'm going to go back and I'm going to smooth that out. Because remember, those little burrs will cut your finger after this gets cooked. I'm going to drill a hole right through here. Drill, drill, drill. Back her up. Smooth that baby out. And booyah. Clay project in under an hour.
I think it's been more than an hour.
So I just kind of, those little burrs that come up when I go to sign my name here, I'm gonna, meow, meow, meow. There we go. My R is incorrect for me pretending that I did it in cursive. But pretty good. There we go. Do we have anything to say?
Hold up.
Hold
I'm
up.
not done. Aha. Hi.
Got anything to say?
No.
Okay. Is this a fun project?
Yes.
Okay. And this is what he's finishing up. He's caving in his little designs. Rock on, bud. Okay, guys. Hope this was helpful. Hope you had fun. If you have any problems, let me know. The more you pinch and touch your clay, the drier it gets. If you start your project and you have to stop midway, you take a paper towel, get it damp. You don't want it wet. So you'll get it wet. You'll wring it out really, really, really well. Spread her out like that. You're going to take your project and you'll put the damp paper towel with the project like so. Any extra clay you have, you're going to keep that wrapped up with the damp paper towel and your project, and you are going to put them inside of a plastic bag. First, you're going to make sure your plastic bag doesn't have any holes. So this is a project we started earlier. So you're going to tuck your piece into the plastic bag. This might actually be your dad's. No, this is mine. I think this is mine. Anyways, damp paper towel, plastic bag. Wrap it up like that. No air bubbles. Air's going to dry out faster. We double bag because Kroger bags have holes in them. Be very careful with it. If I take this and throw this across the room, it'll destroy it. And hope you guys had fun and pick a fun project for you to do. Have a good one.